And I am joined today by our techno sensei, Dan Lenard. Hi, Dan. And our
I'm not
guest,
Dan. There we go.
there's
There's Dan.
Dan. And our guest sensei today is Liz Atherton of the newly born and newly launched into the world Cast Voices. So we are really excited to have her here. Um, Joshua Homa Edwards is here in the background making things go. He does that at the dojo a lot. Um, so we're doing things a little bit differently today. If you've been here before, we have had it been a webinar where we don't see or hear you, but wanted to shift it up so we can. So we're going to start. I'll have Dan introduce himself and Liz tell us a little bit about her and all the goodness that she's up to. And then we're going to open it up to questions and answer as many questions as we can within the 1 hour that we have here. So we'll be taking those questions from the chat in just a second. But yeah, if you want to say where you're calling from, it's always great to hear. And I also want to, I forgot to do this, launch this poll. So this is really important because the great thing about the dojo is that we are here to guide, connect, support, and accelerate you every step of the way from I don't know to working pro. So the awesome thing about these calls is that we get a wonderful blend of everyone who's on different places in their journeys. So this helps Dan and our guest sensei and myself gauge what level to be talking about stuff, right? Because there's always that next level of nuance um, and knowledge that we can go into. So it looks like a pretty experienced crowd here, which is great. So we can talk like that. All right. Well, let's get started. Dan, hi, how are you? Tell us about yourself.
Well, hi, I'm Dan Lenard, Techno Sensei here at the dojo. My expertise is in creating home voiceover studios and trying to alleviate everyone of the entire humongous pile of mythology and BS about how to set up a home voiceover studio and how to get your audio sounding correct. So any questions on that, you can direct towards me, and I will be happy to answer them in full, complete, total, unbelievable honesty.
Indeed, indeed. And Liz, so glad to have you back in this format. I know we had a great session. Gosh, when was that? In March?
Yeah, with the team. That was really
Yeah,
good. It was
yeah,
really good. Thank you.
yeah. Well, tell us about you. You've been in this business for so long and know it from so many different angles, and now you are forging the way with blazing new trails in it. So
I'm crazy. Is that enough?
um, well, welcome.
Welcome to the crazy. Thank you very much, Tish. I started a talent agency over 30 years ago. Started in on camera, then we moved to voiceover, and I was very fortunate to work with some amazing people. I always had a technical background, so I was one of the first talent agencies, if not the first, to have a talent agency website. So that's kind of my teeny tiny claim to fame. I was close. I was one or two. But about, I don't know, 25 years, 26 years ago, people were just moving to online. This is new, well, new-ish. And so I started thinking, hey, there's a different way to do casting. And finally, that was back in 95. And now here we are in 2021 and 2020, and we're doing it. So that's a little bit about me. I have lots of opinions. And as I was telling the group before you all joined us, I'm always right. And if I'm not right, I'm right anyway. And I kid. I have a big old sense of humor. But I'm happy today to answer any kind of questions. I do have a great deal of agent experience, and feel free to question me in that. Don't ask me what mic to use. Talk to Dan, talk to Tish. I don't know squat, but I'm pretty good with the business stuff, and I'm happy to answer your questions. And if you have questions about Cast Voices, I can do that too. It doesn't have to be the Cast Voices show.
Yeah. Can you just in a nutshell tell us what Cast Voices is about, and maybe a little bit how it's going? I know when we talked in March, it was in the
we were launching. We're still in that phase. I mean, so Cast Voices we call it a pay to market. Some people call it a P2P. I honestly don't see it as a P2P, but I acquiesce that some could. We created a platform from the talent perspective. We really try to highlight the talent, where guys can create a profile. You get SEO, you get all that kind of good stuff in it. And you can upload your demos. It's a nice little, you can create a vanity link. There's a whole lot of stuff. There's a whole lot of features behind that we're creating. But you create a profile on the site, and that started in March. We're bringing on casting and agents in May. And there's a couple of reasons it's May and not March. One, we wanted it populated, and I'm really pleased. We have over 800 people that have signed on so far. So are created a profile. So that's pretty exciting. It's over 1 million lines of code. Anytime you launch something out there into the Nethersfield like that, you got to be prepared for a bunch of, when you have 800 users. Fortunately, the team that we have behind the scenes is so exceptionally good at what they do that our bugs are very small and correctable. So, and we have been doing that. Alongside with that, we're rolling out the final phases of casting and agents. And I think one of the big differentiators between our program and perhaps others is that it is we did reserve and preserve the agent interface. I think that's good. It's a great place for your storage and all that other kind of stuff. And it's an enterprise platform. It truly is code built from scratch. So, I mean, we put things in it like Stripe to run our money, and they're not my favorite person today or thing. We have other features, plugins, but mostly it's custom code. And I'm just telling you, it's the technology behind it is fascinating and fun for me.
And what will it bring to us? Like, what will we get out of it?
Well, what you
not in like, what will we get out of it, Liz? But
well, especially for the new talent. It's a full-size web page with all your demos, things about you, your resume, how to reach you, what studio setup you have. All of that is in a click. So
home base.
It's a home base. Two, it brings to you the experience of me and Elizabeth and Nick. Nick's in. To 100, 200, or are y'all hearing that too?
There we go. Got it.
Okay, sorry, that's okay. And so the team that built it, one's in an Academy Award winning movie. And so he knows what he's doing when it comes to actors. He's also our brilliant CTO. We have Elizabeth, who is, worked in the top advertising agencies. And we have me, who was a talent agent for a bazillion years. And our connections to bring casting, and I don't want to leave out Adam. Adam is we brought him on as a advisor, because he is also a developer and has the connections in all the software studios developing all the games. So we're really going hard after games and animation. We bring, hopefully.
So it's a home base, and you invite a lot of awesome people to come play at the party.
Well, right. We hope to bring on all the awesome casting directors to bring to the party too. Awesome. 3, it's cloud storage for your stuff. And 4, it's transparent. We're not taking anything you don't see.
Awesome. Good. All right. Well, let's open it up to questions. We've got people from everywhere here.
Hi, everybody, and awesome. I appreciate you all taking your time out today to do this with me. Thank you.
Yeah. All right. Well, Let's open it up to questions. Joshua, why don't you do your magic, my friends, and bring us a question. Bring us a question.
Sure. Well, folks, again, if you have questions for Liz, for Dan, or if you're curious about the dojo, you can type your questions in the chat as always. But we'd love to hear from you as well. So hold on one second. We'll mute
Not
that person.
all of you, not everything that's going on. The questions.
So you also can raise your hand. And again, this is all about VO, so we'd love to hear from you. If you don't know how to raise your hand, you can go to the participants icon on your mobile phone or your computer and find the raise hand button there. Or for some people, it's in the reactions section. And if you click on that button, you'll find the raise hand button there. But until we see someone raise their hand, we'll just keep going to some of the questions here in chat. Or actually, thank you, Billy Joe, for raising your hand and speaking up here. What is your question?
Hi, Liz. Thanks for doing this.
Hi, thank you.
I'm excited about Cast Voices, and I know you have a ton of experience in this industry, and you kind of talked a little bit about it just now, but if it's not a pay to play, then what need in the industry do you see this filling? Is it something like where VoiceBank was? Is it something a little bit different? I'm just curious, like, how this fits into the whole ecological system that is voiceover these days, and I'm excited about it.
Thank you.
Yeah.
So Cast Voices, you guys are all 1099ers. You're all self-employed, and you're always all looking out for more work. There are other platforms that help you find that work. There's LinkedIn that helps you find that work. There's your marketing that helps you find that work. But unless you are solely with an agent who is also helping you find work, we're another avenue to help you do that. We grew from a seed, like I said, back in '95, but we were certainly spurned on by the tsunami of 2017, 2018, when suddenly VoiceBank, and I was a VoiceBank baby. We booked, I don't know if we were the lion's share of everybody that booked on VoiceBank, but we booked a lot of projects. I was sending out between 10 and 12 auditions a day to the team, or our team was sending out 10. It was an amazing platform. Casting directors from all levels of the casting industry, from the $0 job to the $275,000 job, were posting on VoiceBank. It was nice. We are not VoiceBank, but the features where VoiceBank kept the agents is something that we did. Agents, and I don't want to sit here and necessarily advocate for agents, although I love them because I was one. But you guys, they're really hit hard. You guys are all out finding your work. There are avenues to help find you work. They're certainly finding a higher dollar work. It's tough on everybody right now, especially the agents, so I think we've built a platform hopefully to protect the agents. But in terms of, for all of the pay to plays out there, honestly, guys, as long as you can afford them, you should be on them. If they're bringing you or giving you opportunity audition for quality work, then why wouldn't you pay $150, $250, or some of them are more a year for somebody to do that canvassing for you? I think that's a really positive thing. We're transparent. We felt it important to be transparent. We give you a presence on the web, whether you're experienced. I did see one of the chat ones come up, whether you're experienced, really experienced or not. You have a one-stop shop with all your stuff on one page. We have, every time you audition, and this is different than VoiceBank for certain, every time you audition, your profile goes with you. So if you're auditioning through your agent, or if you're auditioning because you got invited directly, or you're auditioning because you matched on the profile system, then that goes with you, and it's a one-stop shop where they can find out about you. It offers you that kind of marketing opportunity. Plus you can update your resume, on the fly. It's not hard. You upload, you download. We have other features coming in that where you can archive your information for the projects you booked. You get reminders, and some of these are on the upgraded things. You get reminders if you have invoicing due or you need a release or a rebuy. So I don't know. I'm hard pressed, and I don't mean this disrespectfully. I'm hard pressed to say we're better or worse than anybody else. If you guys have ever created a website, imagine that on steroids. It's a heck of a lot of work. And so, I know that there's some icky ones out there. And when I was an agent, I thought them extremely icky too. But it's work to help make this happen. And you guys are awesome. You are so awesome, but you guys are picky. And that's kind of why we're eventually going to offer CastActors. So, which is a parallel system to CastVoices, so for the on camera, and it'll all tie in together, world domination. But we knew the voiceover community would be the most discerning, technically adept, and challenging for us in a really good way. I mean, I don't know, Billy, I kind of went off on that. I do that, but
well, you covered a lot. You covered a bunch of questions here.
Okay, well, good.
Rebecca,
I did that on purpose.
Yeah, yeah. And if anyone has tech questions, we don't have to. Whatever's on your mind, what can we help you with? Where are you feeling challenged, or where do you have questions, or what do you not know that would get you? What's the next thing that you need to know to get to where you want to go? All of these questions we can ask. If you have any tech questions for Dan, that's great. Yeah. Let's see. Let's see. Leland, do you want to ask your question here, Leland? Can we hear you?
We'd love to hear your voice. Yes, Leland. You can raise your hand.
You're on the air. Go for it.
Where are you, Leland? Are you there? Hello? Hello? Anyone? Oh, unmute. There we go.
Oh, hi, can you hear me?
Now we can. Yes.
Yay! Okay, so my first class with you mentioned the hardwire in the house. And I ran out and bought one, but I believe it's not the right one, because then I thought I remember you saying something about Cat 9. Is that correct?
I don't know.
From the Wi-Fi.
But that would be like Ethernet.
Ethernet, yeah. And
with Ethernet cable, that's what you need.
And what's the number? Because when I go to the store, because the one I bought obviously was wrong because it's so cheap. But when I go and look at the store, they go up to 8 and nothing above 8. And I swear I remember the word 9 coming from somebody's mouth.
Well, lots of words come from a lot of people's mouths about what's right and that sort of thing. If you go to Best Buy or wherever and you find Ethernet cable, it's Ethernet cable.
Okay.
And I mean, are you running it through walls? Are you just like running it all the way through your house to your computer, or what?
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, I've got it through the, the box, the Wi-Fi box, whatever that's called. I'm sorry. And then I have it going, through the living room and into underneath my stairs where I hide to do my voiceover.
Yeah. And I take it because you want to be able to use Source Connect.
Yeah, eventually. I have not had the nerve yet to actually buy it. Or even do the 1 day free, because I'm afraid of not having someone to call and do the check through with and waste that 1 day. But I realize without it, I'm not going to get real jobs through my agent, because my agent says, when you apply for this job, you must have home studio, professional, real Source Connect, not the free Source Connect. Right. And if I don't, they'll come to my house and beat me up.
Right. Well, fortunately, one, they can't come over to your house right now anyway. Number two, Source Connect is one of those things that you can get in a pretty good hurry if you know you're going to need a Source Connect session. So I would say don't prevent yourself from getting work by saying, I don't have Source Connect, because you can always get it. And chances are there's somebody nearby that may have it. Like if somebody, if I have
Minneapolis, I know one person, but everybody else does not have it yet. And I am so untechnically challenged, or I am technically
you don't have to
challenged.
be technical for it. If you can take one thing and plug it into another, generally you can get it. There's an awful lot of misinformation about Source Connect and how to use it. And essentially, if you're using, an Ethernet cable and you go directly from your modem, it's not a problem. The issue comes up where there's lots of gateways through a router into the cable modem and stuff, and you've got to open all these little digital gateways. But it's actually much easier than you think. And there's a couple of good videos. My buddy George Whittam has a great video on that, and there's a few other people do that show you how to go in there and run the menus to get into that. But it's not a game changer. It's not a game stopper for you. And if you're good and you're auditioning, it shouldn't be a big deal. So
Okay, so there is no number that's on that Ethernet cable. So the one that I have now might be good enough.
that line is probably fine. If it says Ethernet cable, it's Ethernet cable. Don't be confused by, other types of cable.
Okay, thank you.
Cool. Let's see. Why don't we kind of alternate a Cast Voices question and a general question and then a tech question. We've got some good ones. So Pat, why don't you ask your question? Pat Kennedy, sorry.
Hello.
There you are. Hello.
Hi, everyone. Liz, I was just curious, once a person, a voice talent, creates a profile on Cast Voices, can you please describe the procedure that a voice talent, how a voice talent could acquire a job?
So we are a matching system for work. You put in your profile, the basic is free. Everybody can have a free profile, or you can upgrade to standard, which gives you the opportunity to post even more demos and more tags. And then the pro, which is unlimited, lots of other bells and whistles, sound bites and whatnot. Once you load your profile in, then you have to have at least one demo, then you're on the system. You can get invited. It's an invite only platform. You can be invited to audition one of three ways. The first way is through profile matching. Casting director loads the project, puts in the specs. Magic Machine goes out and says, oh, these people based on their profiles match these specs, and you get invited to audition. And then it's whoever gets it in first and whoever they hear first that they like. That's true across most anything, guys. First in, first heard, first hired. But in our case, we don't have you cannot pay to get stuff first or ahead of anybody else, or only it's if you match, you're invited. The second way to get invited to work is through your agent. Casting director can, like I said, do it three ways, it's or. They can only invite by platform or by agent or by direct invite. So if a casting director goes on and says, I want to invite these agents to audition for this project, that project then gets to your agent invites you, you audition through your agent, and the same process after that. The third way is if you're a direct invite. Trend in advertising agencies and even with casting directors, it's been there forever, is they create rosters where they only want to invite this set of people. Or we have people that do auditions that help casting directors, and they have to set people. If they have rosters within their contacts, then they can invite certain rosters. You're on their roster, you get invited to participate. Then from there, it's submitting your auditions. If you're on the upgraded platforms and the casting director gives you on the pro, it gives you feedback, then you get that feedback. And then they hit booked. And then from there, it's between you and them. We don't invoice for you. We don't get in the middle of the money. We don't do all that kind of stuff. It's between you and them, and you take it from there. So that's how you would find work. The more robust your profile, the better, but you still get invited. And we wanted to have an opportunity for even people that were not ready, couldn't afford it, whatever, to still have an option to get invited to participate. And also for people that are only with agents, you have to have a profile on there for the agent to be able to send you the data. And so that's why the basic is there.
Okay.
Thank you.
So I hear that it serves the buyer. So the buyer has three choices on how they can receive and identify who who they hear.
Correct.
Right? And then it also is, it's also a tool for agents to just be there and be one of the chosen agencies rather than the advertising agency doesn't have to call do and D and
Correct. Or
they just go,
even
here it
or
is,
even
we'd like to
email
send
them.
it to da 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 da. Right. Okay.
Right.
So it
Even
becomes
email them.
one stop for the advertising agencies, one stop for the agency, and then the talent is there to be chosen.
Correct.
You're among the 100 options.
And the other thing is that all your stuff is up on the cloud. All that space, especially agents and ad agents in casting, where they're saving all those files. Sometimes they're using Dropbox, which is great, but they're saving all those files. You know, it's there. You've got it. You can trust that we've got it for you.
Cool. Well, let's. Oh my gosh, it's lawn blower time, of course. Let's talk some of these voiceover or these tech questions, Dan. Larissa, kind of related to the Ethernet, but a little bit different. Yeah, why don't we get Larissa's question and then Bill LaValle's question too. So Larissa first. I'm going to go close my window. Sorry.
Okay. Sure. Hi. Yes. Hi Dan. Nice to meet you. I got the what is it called, Audio Box 96 from Sweetwater, and they sent it to me with all these downloadable programs. So I did, and I'm learning how to record on it. But can I submit through that, or should I just bite the bullet and just get Source Connect and record on that instead?
Well, you don't record with Source Connect unless you're using Source Connect now. But Source Connect is strictly a party-to-party
Sorry, get it wrong. Thank you.
so that the studio can talk to you and you can send a quality, high-resolution signal to them so they can record on their end. That's what Source Connect is for. All these other programs for recording, forget about them. Are you in a Mac or a PC?
I'm a PC girl.
Okay. Use Audacity. It's free. Learn how to use it, because all these other big programs and complicated platforms, by the way, have absolutely nothing to do with you recording your voice tracks in your home studio. All that stuff is for engineers. You're not mixing anything. Any processing you need to do is always included in even simple programs like Audacity and Twisted Wave and some of those things. Everybody overthinks this one so much because there is so much misinformation out there. Yes. People who tell you to use Pro Tools or Logic Pro or any of these other things are telling you something that they know how to use and have been using for years to make them sound better. Here's the thing. Somebody asked the question about broadcast quality and what is broadcast quality. There is no such thing as broadcast quality. What we've determined is that broadcast quality means that it doesn't sound bad. Gotcha. And there's an awful lot of stuff that can make it sound bad. And those are the things you have to worry about. And that's mostly acoustics, mic technique, and setting proper levels. Other than that, if you go into Facebook forums or you ask questions out there, if you open source your home studio, you are asking for major league trouble. And it's more important to talk to somebody who actually knows something more than some of these other people. Everybody's an expert in one studio, their own. But there's only a few people that actually understand you're in your closet or you're in your extra bedroom. Right. And there's a way to do it, and there's a simple way to do it. And it's important that people stop going on forums and telling everybody how great they sound. Who cares? The idea is not to sound great. The idea is to sound like you.
Right. I got so much information. I didn't know what to focus on. So thank you so much.
Yeah, and that's why it's great to have someone like Dan on your side, or you can ask him stuff every month, or send him questions, or send your samples and stuff like that. I've been saying session quality, right? Because is your studio up to snuff that when a client runs a session with you, they're happy, right?
Exactly.
If it's good for the person who's running the session, that's great, right? So session quality. Okay, yeah, awesome. Let's see. I think Paul had his hand up a little while ago. What is your question, Paul?
Hello, Dan. How you doing? This is Paul. Hello.
I'm here.
Can you hear me?
Yep.
I guess my question was related to recording software, and I just heard your rant about just using Audacity. And I was like, maybe I should put my hand down. But I'll ask it. Well, I'm using Studio One, and I was familiar with it, and so it wasn't a problem with me. I wanted to learn it anyway, so I jumped into it, and and I got into the loop of using, what plugins to use or any plugins, because when you're submitting to things through ACX, they expect you to produce it all the way. So I know that usually when you're doing it on your own, I'm trying to engineer it myself also. So I've been trying to learn those ropes also, and because I enjoy that aspect of it also.
Right. Yeah. Here's the thing about something like Studio One, which is a great program. It comes with, the PreSonus equipment, right? Usually, when, they're one of their interfaces. It's a nice multi-track program. Question: are you a musician?
Yes.
Okay, that answers that question. That's the only type of person that should be using that type of program. If you know how to reuse it, that's fabulous. But you're going to find that almost all recording platforms never, in any way, sense of any sense of reality. They're not sitting in a boardroom somewhere going, we need to create voiceover software to record with. It's all designed for making music. We are just adapting it to our purposes, and you want to use as little as the stuff on there as possible. All the plugins, all these things, plugins have nothing to do with voiceover quality. The stuff you need to do for ACX is all included in the software you have. Usually it has to do with compression and these other things, and they give you specific parameters for it. And if you get it right, you send it in, they go, that's good, fine. And then they send out the crappy audio that Audacity or that what's the audiobook company Audible has.
Yeah.
I find them to be an abomination to the quality of audio, but that's just me.
Not your company. Okay.
Well, I guess so. If we were to talk about not even before the recording chain, I mean, at this point, do I need a separate preamp? I currently am using. Do you need a separate preamp between your microphone and your?
No, because your preamp, if you've got like a Focusrite 2i2,
which I do have. Yeah, that's what I have.
Any one of these over $150 interfaces, their preamps are quality enough. They really do a fine job. And remember, the more powerful your preamp, the more sensitive your mic is, the more all of the imperfections of your room are going to come into play. So you don't want to have a really super duper sensitive mic.
Don't turn the lights on too loud, too strong, unless your mic goes.
One of these is what allows it to all happen, and not an exterior preamp. Again, more mythology and misinformation. You got people misdirecting you who don't want you to be able to do this. That includes other voice actors who've been doing it a long time, and recording engineers who have 401ks and insurance and don't want their company to go out of business. So they're not going to give you. They're going to give you their point of view on this. Keep it simple. Do not overthink this stuff.
Excellent.
Thank you.
Excellent. Let's see. Want to keep on mixing it up. I did say Bill LaValle had a question about, Bill, you want to ask your question about microphone placement?
Oh, yes.
So you want to know why it is you have the mic upside down?
Yeah, are you there, Bill? Oh, there, unmute yourself. There you
I
go.
am. Okay, thank you very much.
Mhm.
Yes, Dan, I was curious about why the microphone has to be placed upside down. I noticed yours is, and I've heard other people say so, but is that a for sure a thing, or does working with a floor stand okay?
Well, this guy's on a floor stand, I mean, it's not what the floor stand so much. It's the mic placement. Mic technique is number 2 on my hit parade of things you've got to master. And one of the things that people tend to do, they see a microphone and suddenly they're on a microphone and they have to talk louder and that sort of thing. Proper mic technique is to have it upside down. I'll explain why in a second. having the bottom of the mic, which is actually the top of the mic, at the height of the bridge of your nose, and you talk underneath it, and your copy is underneath like that. So you can a couple of reasons. One, so you can see your copy. You know, if you got your mic up like this, you've got to talk a little bit off axis, or you can't see the copy. This gives you a free view of your copy, which is really what you're supposed to be concentrating on. Number two, you'll also notice that when it's at the height of the bridge of your nose, it is at the exact height of your ears, which is how other people perceive you, which is why in all studios you're going to see it set up like this. Number three is there's no such thing as a pop screen. It's a screen to stop Celine Dion or whoever from spitting on a $10,000 microphone. You're going to be a good 5 to 10 inches away. This is exactly 8 inches I measured. And you, by talking underneath it like this, one, it should sound like I'm in the same room with you. And number two, I can go Peter Piper picked a peck of pickled peppers, and there is no plosives. So when you have when you put a pop screen in front of something, suddenly you see this big black circle in front of you, and it reminds you that, oh, I'm on a microphone, I have to project more. And it tends to make you get too close to the mic, which creates proximity effect, which we really don't want to have. So you want to be that distance from the mic, have your copy under here, and that's why you hang your microphone upside down so you don't ding your microphone.
It's
Very
yes,
good.
yes.
Great explanation.
Awesome.
Thank you, Dan.
You're welcome.
Awesome. Let's open it up to Susanna's question, and then Stephanie has a question about Cast Voices as well. Susanna, you want to ask your question about audio description?
The host would like, oh yeah, hey, hi. I was curious about how audio description fits into this new world. And for those of us who are certified in that area, who are the people that we should be reaching out and, telling that we're certified?
Are you asking me?
Like, is audio description something that is going to be part of Cast Voices?
In terms of describing your demo, I mean, I honestly don't understand the question.
Oh, okay. So so audio description is you know how there's closed caption for people who can't hear.
Gotcha.
Audio description is like for people who are visually impaired, can't see. Then if you want to see them, if you are watching or taking in and experiencing a movie, audio description says he opened the door, or, he walks in and does this.
I have to be very honest here. I know very little about who you should market that to. I just honestly don't know, but I feel like maybe the Learning Ally might know. They work with special needs recordings for all sorts of things. I know that those are recordings, but they also have an in into that marketplace. I don't have a good answer for you there. What I can tell you is that if someone looking to find audio talent, if they wanted to post their project, we would certainly make sure that they had all the right descriptors to help go find an audio talent or an audio description talent.
Oh, cool. So, yeah.
Catherine Campion, are you still on? Catherine Campion is one of our Dojo senseis. Do you have any insights to share with Susanna in terms of, I know you've been delving in.
Yeah, I mean, I haven't worked in this world yet, but it has really, I teach adaptive yoga. So I work in the disabled world already. And then it was brought to my attention via, I'm on the board for SAG-AFTRA. SAG-AFTRA has a brand new contract. Historically, audio description has been out of union jurisdiction, for lack of a better word. There were no union contracts, and the pay is actually so low that you can't even convert it. But the contracts are much better now that they're coming out with SAG-AFTRA. And I think the plan is the next round of contracts would include residuals, the same way when your voice is embedded in an animated or feature or TV show, you get your residuals. So that's what I know so far. And the people that I do know who do a lot of audio description are all union talent who've just been doing it as one of their many hustles. And it isn't through auditions, it's through being on rosters. So you reach out to places that provide audio description producers, basically. So you want to get on the rosters of these audio description producers. And the best way to do that is to do what Susanna did. Sorry, crime alert in my neighborhood again, by George Floyd Square here. And yeah, so the best way to do that is to get certified like Susanna has done. So you really know, because it is a very specialized area of work. But it sounds like it could be very rewarding, and I'm looking forward to adding it to my arsenal once I have a little more time to do so.
Cool. And Liz, maybe we can get Stephanie's question here. The daily expectation. Oh, Stephanie, you ask your question. You're a voiceover artist. Ask your question, darling.
Hi. Thanks so much. Yeah, I went to the Cast Voices site, and if you've already covered this, I apologize. I was putting my son down for his nap, so I joined a little late. And I was just wondering what the daily / weekly / whatever expectation is. Like, what would I be receiving? I'm on multiple pay to plays, so I'm used to getting auditions every single day. And I've signed up for like the free registration, and I haven't heard anything from the website. And I'm just like, what's going on?
If I've got your email from the pre-registration, go check your promotions and your marketing folder, and more than likely your email filtered it. So
Okay,
go check that, because it's probably there. And that's true for anybody else here that signed up on the Indiegogo. We've started hitting them directly, but we try not to do a whole lot of emailing out just because we don't want to bug your inbox. But to be very honest, there is zero way I could tell you what to expect. What I can tell you is, just like your agent can't tell you how many auditions you're going to get, or anybody can. It is all incumbent upon how many casting directors and ad agencies and others that are casting we get on the site. Of course, we want everybody in the world. It's also incumbent upon how you fit and match what projects are being posted. And so the more they're looking for your specific, whatever you put in as your tag markers and things like that, the chances are better that you're going to get invited to audition. And then it's up to your agents whether or not you invite them. If you're on a roster for an ad agency and we've got that ad agency on there, then they might invite you. But I'll be very honest, I would be surprised if anybody in any format could give you any kind of expectation on how many times you're going to get invited. I would love to tell you 1,212 daily, but just to be honest, there's just, I mean, it would be dishonest of me to say, oh, you're going to get 5 a day, 25 a week, 75 a month, whatever. I couldn't, there's just no way I could do that. I'm sorry.
And are you, I know the idea is that you've got this great pool of talent. And now and the whole thing is going to be connected, like the waterways are going to be connected in May. Are you doing beta testing with the casting people and
absolutely
right now? So it's sort of, it's all in beta right now, but there's things that you should be getting connections.
Right. We launched the casting. Yeah, we launched those fully tested, fully ready to roll. Thing with the casting, while we get a little bit of leeway with the actors, right? Y'all are forgiving. Y'all are kind. We don't capitalize something that we should, or Lord knows the first day we launched, you could only put in American zip codes. Well, that's been fixed. We've had our little hiccups along the way. You don't get a second chance with casting. So you just don't. So we needed, the extra mostly to populate, but also because the test, we won't step out until we're fully fleshed. I have personal friends that are casting directors that, yes, are testing our system inside out, upside down, backwards, forwards.
So it's not some water in the pond. It's going to be in May. Disneyland's doors will open.
Yes, it's in May. In May. Okay. Hello. So yes.
So this is sort of this literally is getting in on the ground floor.
Oh, absolutely. You are getting in on the ground floor.
So whatever's happening right now, if you're in on the ground floor, you're just ready for the doors of Disneyland to open.
I like it. Yes, Disneyland, called Cast Voices, is opening, and we will have as much revenue opportunity as Disneyland. I wish. But yes, it is ground floor, and yes, it is ground floor.
Okay, cool. see. Did John H. Hello. So good to see you, or that you're here. I think we might have, why don't you ask your question here and see if we've covered it?
You hear me?
We can.
John H.
Okay,
H?
that's always good. Actually, Dan kind of answered it a bit, and you did as well. We're
Okay.
talking about session broadcast quality, and it was kind of pertaining to those of us who live in the cities where there are normally a lot of recording studios you're going to be sent to by a client. And then, of course, 2020 happened, and a lot of things just became boom, we're at home. And that seems to be a comfortable sphere for a lot of people, both people on the high end of booking and those who are just starting out. But with vaccines and protocols being relaxed in many cities, studios are going to be opening up more. Now, I guess it's more of a philosophical question. Maybe any of you, want to answer it from your perspectives. I know Liz is in the warmer client area of the South, and Tish is in LA, and it's just different. But some of us want to maybe continue with what we're doing, or maybe get a little higher end in some of our equipment, knowing we're going to have to keep the home studio going. But are there any thoughts about where you think we're heading into the year where we might be going back to studios? So maybe you don't need to drop, a couple of grand on a new mic that you thought you would need because you keep seeing all of these postings for what we're going to call session quality. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I can answer that. John, great to see you again. Here's the thing. One, invest in what to do what. There's no equipment out there. What you've got, I see you got a nice MXL mic there. You've got your studio set up. You've got all those things. What in there that you have is not good enough to book you work and produce work in there? There's no microphone, no interface, none of these things that will change the way you read copy. I don't get this. It's like, I got to have the best sound. Well, what's the best sound? Any good microphone over $200, proper acoustics, using the microphone right, and setting your input settings. That's all you need to do. No microphone is going to change that. Why are
Well,
people?
Dan, I'll just agree with you on that. However, when it comes to, say, the video game world, they will check if they say they want a 103 or a Newman or whatever. They might insist on that. And I've talked to some of the other tech people in the world, and some people are into Townsend's where they can sort of recreate that sound. And there are some clients that are pretty insistent because they're working with these other talent they've already recorded, and they want all the mic to be consistent. So if it might depend on the particular genre you're trying to continue to work in.
Here's the thing about that. First off, there's not an engineer out there except this one guy I talked to this weekend who's been a producer at CBS for 42 years. They can say, yeah, I like the way this guy sounds on this microphone and that one and this one. When it comes to the gaming industry, there isn't anybody out there that can tell the difference between mics. I'm telling you, it's ridiculous. You can tell them you have, I like to call this my Alfonso di Credenza. They say they care, but if you send in your audio and they're like, oh, that's good, they don't know what mic it is. And the insistence on this comes from them trying to match stuff. Unfortunately, it's ridiculous because every room is different and every voice is different. And therefore, a TLM 103 is going to sound different in your booth than it's going to sound out here in my office. So them telling you that is you going out and investing in something that's not going to make you any better, and it's not going to really change the way they do things. Now they can, when was the last time I got hired to do a game? I'm not worried about it. They can say, this guy doesn't know what he's talking about. But I'm telling you, if they say you have to have this and you have to have that, I would seriously question it. The mic that you have, and I see you using a pop screen. I told you not to use a pop screen.
I'm feeling very poppy today. It's my birthday.
You got it
Happy
here.
birthday.
Piper picked it back. You're not going to get any plosives, because we essentially have the same mic. It's just slightly different. So the answer is don't worry about that stuff until they say, okay, we're going to hire you. I wouldn't invest in that. And you're in New Jersey, New York.
He's in LA.
Oh, you're in LA.
Unless you moved.
If there's nobody here that can't lend you one of those like me, then it's not a big deal.
No, and that's a good point. I think it was also more of extending the question. I certainly don't want to spend a lot of time on this, but with a lot of people are going to be invited back to studios, hopefully, and they might be on the precipice of whether they want to. And it's not just the mic; it might be getting a new computer or getting to Source Connect. Does everybody feel optimistic that studios are going to sort of welcome people back, or are we going to just be in our little cocoons?
The studios are going to welcome back. I just had a session where I was like, oh my God, I've just totally 100% engineered that session. I'm doing playback. I'm in, I'm picking heroes. I'm like, wow, just saved a lot of money, clients, because you didn't I just did all that. So I don't know, from the this is probably a good Fight Club question when we get commercial people for Fight Club, the decision makers. That would be a good question to ask there, because that's, I think, where the flow is, right? Yeah, so I think it's going to be, I think it's the undoing of the Wild West, right? In March, a year ago, March, it was like, what? We all need to get into our houses. And so I think it's going to be unfolding as to where the ease of the workflow comes, right? And then who's interested in investing where.
I'd like to hear what Liz has to say, because I think it's going to be a hybrid. There's going to be some people that are going to have a quality studio that can do it, and then there's, if you can send in an audition and like come into the studio, you go into the studio. It's as simple as that.
Yeah. And I think the moral of the story is be ready to do whatever you need to do wherever you can do it at the highest caliber of delivery, both in your skill set, and then being able to deliver session quality. And then if you need to have a BMW to drive for that company, then have them pay you so you can get a BMW, right? So yeah. Okay, well, we're coming into the last couple of minutes here. Let's see. Yeah. Let's see. Well, maybe we should let's see, there's good discussions here. We need to do some Clubhouse things, get everyone chatting together. Why don't we bring it in? And Joshua, I know you had an idea of staying after if anybody wants to go into breakout rooms. So why don't we do this? Why don't we have everybody say how you can keep in touch and what's up next? And then Joshua, if you want to invite everyone to hang out and chat some more after, you can orchestrate that. Does that make sense?
Yes, will do. Yeah, Liz,
Okay.
would you tell us about where people can find out more information about Cast Voices, and also post a link in the chat, please?
Elizabeth, will you post that link, please? Elizabeth, our director of marketing, is also, I see her in the listening in today. CastVoices.com. We're in beta. You can create go to Cast Voices. There you go. Go to CastVoices.com and you can create a basic, standard, or pro profile any way you choose. The best way to reach us is pick me at CastVoices.com if you have a specific question. If you're on platform, if you're on platform, it tells you how to do all that kind of stuff. It's easy. You just email us. And if y'all have any questions, you can find me on Facebook, Liz Atherton. Liz Lyons Atherton, I think, on Facebook. I'm a little irreverent, I warn you. And you can also find me on LinkedIn. I answer my messages as best I can. And mostly I'm grateful that you guys came today. I appreciate you. And, rock on, keep those voices going. It's a busy time.
Yeah. And Dan, how do we keep in touch with your goodness?
Well, you can go to homevoiceoverstudio.com. That's my homepage, or describe some of the services I offer. One thing you might want to do is go all the way down to the bottom of my homepage where I have the specimen collection cup. You click on that. It's a Dropbox. Send me an MP3. Follow the instructions to the letter. So I can hear the raw sound of your audio. So if we need to make adjustments to it, we can do that. But everybody's over processing their audio, and stop doing that.
Agreed.
He was the Amish audio engineer. Okay. And everything we're doing at the VO Dojo, you can find at www.thevodojo.com. As I said at the top, wherever you are, we'll meet you and give you new perspectives, new connections, new amplify your efforts by coming together and working together to get you where you want to be, to take your career all the way. We do have, you should do voiceover intensives that are enrolling for May. Fight clubs are happening 4 times a month. Demo reps and booking are the criteria. This is our working pro workout that brings top-notch talent together with the decision makers who hire us. And you can participate in those, or everyone can audit as well. So check that out. Yeah, great stuff happening here in April. It's and we also have the nth degree intensive. It seems like there's a lot of people who are well on their journey. The nth degree is our working pro accountability and workout groups. So if you're looking for a little bit of support to get out of your closet and work together and focus on setting goals and keeping yourself connected and accountable outside of your box, it's a great thing. You can check that out as well. Cool. Well, I think I have a little bit of time to hang out. Liz and Dan, I don't know if I would imagine that you've got things to do, but if you would like to go to a breakout room, you can let Joshua know. And if not, thank you so much for being here. I encourage you to reach out to both of these folks as resources. We're all here to help you. And Joshua, why don't you tell us how we can
Bye-bye, everybody.
Okay, bye everybody. And Joshua,